Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining my live. I did not plan to go live at all today. I literally decided in the last few hours. I was editing a video which I posted a few hours ago. It's about a brief, quick journey and introduction into why I've decided to do more lives and why I started to do lives. It's about 90 seconds long. And then I thought to myself, I'm going to actually do a live as well. And so here we are right now. I for this live, it's going to be in two parts, and I'm going to be in two parts of the kitchen, two parts of the house actually. First of all, I'm going to be in the kitchen, and I'm going to be talking to you and showing you what I do to create natural juices. I create natural juices every 2 to 3 days, and then I'm going to move onto the balcony and I'll answer any questions that you have for me. I'll respond to any comments. And I'll tell you a little bit more about me and my life journey living in Jamaica. It actually has started to rain, and so I'm really hoping that the rain will actually give me a second. Someone's just messaged me. So actually, by the time I go next door, the rain should have gone. Fingers crossed. If it's still raining when I get to the balcony, I may decide to actually sit in the living room and talk to you all. So you can get ready for that. So let's start first things first with the juice segment that I'm doing. So why am I doing juice? Why do I create natural juices? Well, if you've watched quite a few of my lives, I have a playlist of juices as well. Several videos of me creating juices, and it talks to you about why I create juices. You can check out the link below, check out my descriptions below, and in there will be the link to the playlist. But in short and in summary, I decided that I wanted to create natural juices because it's more healthy than drinking non-natural juices. All right. I was definitely inspired by my partner, who is a Rastafarian, and I started to learn more about his creation and his thought process in why he actually creates natural juices. And I've been drinking natural juices for probably about 3 years now. I create them every 2 to 3 days. I'm not spending lots of money on it. It's whatever ingredients that I have in my fridge and my freezer. When I go to the market, I also pick ingredients up every 2 weeks. Now, somebody a few days ago had watched one of my juicing videos and made a comment saying that it is not good to mix fruits and vegetables together, which I didn't know. And so I wanted to do a bit more research. So I spoke to Amani, and Amani had said that is correct. However, it depends on the person's body, right? So ideally for some people, creating juices and creating fruits and vegetables together can actually not do very well for your system. It depends how your body breaks it down. But for me, I've been creating juices with fruits and vegetables for nearly 3 years, and I'm fine. So just a disclaimer, even though some of my juices, I talk about using fruits as sweetener and I use vegetables, it's not for everybody, which is fine, but it's fine for me. So today I'm using 7 ingredients, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm actually using 6 ingredients. 1, 2, 6. I'm actually using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients, and 2 of the ingredients one of the ingredients I haven't used on a live before, so please stay tuned for that. And then another ingredient I've used before many times, but I haven't used on a live before. The other ingredient that I've only used it a few times. So this is a new experience for me. So as I said, repeat that again, there's two ingredients that I haven't used on lives before. One I've recently started using, and one I use a lot, I just haven't bought it. And one of those ingredients as well, you can actually add to your sauces as well. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about those ingredients when I go to the balcony in a bit more detail. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that now. So stay tuned for those two new ingredients. So first things first, let's go on to ingredients that can help with your gut and digestive system. All right. Ingredients that can help with your gut and digestive system. And they're actually the surprise new ingredients. It's cabbage and flaxseed. All right. So cabbage is very new for me. I use a lot of green vegetables to make my juices, whether it's pak choi or kalaloo. And I realized that cabbage is a green vegetable as well. So I spoke to Amani and said, can I use cabbage to actually create juices? Amani was like, yeah, of course you can. So I was like, yeah. So that's what I started using about a week ago. And it's an interesting taste. I'd probably say, in my opinion, it gives it a bit more flavor. It sweetens it. I could use it as a natural sweetener. So you have the cabbage here. And then you have flaxseed. Now, I use flaxseed a lot. I just haven't bought it for a few weeks, or just a couple of months. I've just been super busy. And I use flaxseed to actually thicken my sauces. So if I'm making curry chunks, or if I'm making brown stew chunks, if I'm, using what's it called? Walnut seed, I can't even remember what it's called, so we won't even go there. If I'm anything that I'm creating where I need to make a sauce, or I'm brown stewing something, I actually add flax seeds to it, just like a spoonful, to thicken it up, and it actually works. It's actually quite nice. So I'm going to be using flaxseed. Like I said, flaxseed and cabbage are really good for your gut health and good for the digestive system. So I'm going to probably put, I'm going to put a tablespoonful. I don't know how much you're supposed to put in, but I'm going to do that, right? And then the next ingredient that we have, the two next ingredients are excellent for hydration, right? Keep you hydrated and to give you that wonderful, awesome skin glow. So if you're looking for a juice that's going to give you energy, that's also going to keep you hydrated, add these ingredients. So it's pak choi. Now, I'm sure you all know how much I love my pak choi, right? I love my pak choi. So we're going to be adding this to it. Now, usually I will use ingredients that are fresh and frozen. But like I said, I only decided to do this a couple of hours ago. So every single ingredient that I'm going to be using is fresh. Now we've got the cucumbers. Yeah. Great for hydration, great for your skin. If you want a juice that's quite light to drink, then drink this. Then use cucumbers. Excuse me while I just wipe myself down because it's extremely hot in Jamaica, as you all should know. I'm just going to do that. I will be editing this, so that won't be in there. All right, so let's go on to the next two ingredients that are great to boost blood flow, great for immunity and what's the one? And inflammation. So boost your circulation of your blood flow as well. And these are beetroots. So I don't like beetroots unless it's in a juice. And I'm also going to be adding ginger as well. And I have been experimenting with ginger over the last couple of weeks, not just in juices, but in my seasoning. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when I go onto the balcony. So stay tuned, because I've learned some really awesome things about ginger I didn't know about. So I'm using it in my juices because it's a great way to sweeten as well my juices without me having to use sugar. I'm going to just wipe myself down again without me having to use sugar. And I'm going to talk to you about the things that I use and how I use it in creating my food a little bit later. Now, the final ingredient that we're going to be using is, where is it? Honey, 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 honey. So yeah, honey. Now, honey is a natural energy boost, all right? Meaning that it gives you the energy boost, but naturally, okay? And it's also a great way to substitute you adding sugar, all right? So I'm going to use honey. Now, some people, especially vegans, will not use honey. They'll prefer to use agave. So you can use agave as well, but I use my honey. So there you go. Now, this juice is great if you're feeling very sluggish, if you're feeling bloated, if you're looking to boost your energy, you want to be a bit more hydrated. If you're looking to help with your gut and your digestive system, this is a great juice to start with. And if you're new to the juicing world and you don't know where to start, what type of ingredients, well, cucumbers, if you like your salads, and if you know that you use cucumbers, just make a juice with cucumbers, some honey if you want, and that's it, right? Beetroot, if you use beetroot for vegetables, if those are things that you buy on a regular basis, just use those for your juices. I want to be very clear to you all, everybody. To me, there's no hard and fast schedule or program of the type of juices, the type of vegetables or fruits that I add to my juices. I don't think to myself, oh my gosh, I need to add this because it does this. I need to add this because it does that. If I did that, I would not enjoy my juicing journey. Oops. Excuse me. Just need to wipe myself down again. I wouldn't enjoy my juicing journey. And for me, I know that every single ingredient is healthy in some way, whether it's for iron, whether it's for inflammatory help, my digestive system, making me sleep better, giving me more energy, helping me with my bones, calcium. I know that every single vegetable and fruit that I use for potassium, it's going to help me stay healthy. Unless there's something specifically wrong with me, then I might say, okay, so what does this fruit do? What does this vegetable do? Otherwise, I don't really care. I just put it all in. All right, I'm going to stop again because it is hot. Right. Woo! So let me ask you all a question. Everybody in the chat that's watching, hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And I want to ask you, have you ever created juices before? And if so, what's your favorite combo? Okay, so the final thing that I add is water. Just to, some people don't add water, but I do, just to stretch it out. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, some people have mentioned, Natalie, say when you blend your juice, it don't really look like juice, it looks like a smoothie, which is true. There's several reasons why I do that. Just getting some water. It's because I really like bits in my juice. I like to like eat the fruits or the vegetables. I like that crunchy feel. You know, some people will say, I like juice that doesn't have pulp in it, or I like juice that does have pulp in it. Well, I'm on that side of the spectrum. I like juice that has pulp in it. And also when I do lives, if I want to make a juice where it's thin, then I've got to be blending for about 6-7 minutes. And I don't know about you, but you've got time to be waiting for 6-7 minutes. Well, if you do, we can wait today. So I'm now going to blend the wonderful juices. Okay. I have another question for you. What's your favorite ingredient, fruit or vegetable, that you like to add to your juices, and why? Now, as you can see, one would think this juice might turn into a green juice, right? I want you to take a look as we blend to see if the color stays green or if it changes to a different color. And if you think it's going to change to a different color, what color do you think it's going to change to? And while I'm blending, just want to let you know that if you check out my website, I have a lot of ebooks that you can download for free. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to give me your email address. You just literally click and download. And there is a ebook that I have for free where there are recipes on green juices. So if you like green juices and you're looking to focus on detoxing over a specific period of time, that ebook is for you. The link is in the description to this video below. All right. Now, while that's going, I'm going to check the chat. Excuse me, everybody. It's hot like fire. Did you see change? I just realized it was in front of it. Oh my gosh, everybody. So after all that, me saying to y'all, watch to see what color it changed, I'm right in the middle of the camera. That doesn't really help, does it? Right? So you wouldn't have seen it change from green to red, but it is the beetroot that does that. So I'm going to put it on again, and I just want to say shout out to Tara. Welcome all the way from the North Coast. Her favorite ingredient is mango carrot. And you were right. Yes, it definitely did change to a reddish brown or darkish purple. And when I first started creating juices and adding beetroot, Tara, I had no idea it was going to do that. So I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so shout out to Tara. It's one of my girls, by the way. So I really appreciate her joining the live. Big up yourself. Thank you for coming on. I hope this is a kind of helpful live as I talk to you about some of the juices that I create. Well, this is one of the group juices that I create. So I'm going to go and blend it again because I want to get to like it be as thin as possible so people can kind of see wagwan, right, with the juice. Because to be honest, I do it one more time on 1 minute on the smoothie and I'm good, but I'm going to do it a bit longer. Shout out to Simone. Hello. Catching your live. How are you doing in beautiful Jamaica? Well, Simone, at the moment, it's hot like fire. And it really isn't that hot, you know. I just am hot. So at the moment, it's hot like fire. So I have to keep dabbing myself, Simone, with my rag. And just to let you know, all my lives, I actually edit my lives after the replay and I convert them into videos. And so what I'm doing is strategically wiping myself down while I'm not talking. So when I go on Premiere Pro, I will cut that out all of the dabbing of the rag. So if you'll notice, I will do this. I'm not going to speak while I talk because then I'll just edit that part out. But I'm going to put this on for another minute to get it a bit thinner. And my next question to you all is, what are your plans for the weekend? Because yesterday in Jamaica was a public holiday. It was our Jamaica Emancipation Day. Is that correct, Tara? Could you remind me? And then on the 6th of August, it's our Independence Day. So it's pretty quiet right about now in Jamaica. People are taking holidays. So my question to you all, wherever you are in the world, what are your plans for the weekend? Why are you being like, oh, it wasn't on properly. All right, so I'm going to test it just to see if it's thinner. Yeah. So, thank you, Tara. It's Emancipation Day. Right. So, yesterday was our Emancipation Day. So, it was really, really quiet. And my question to you all was where you're from, what are your plans for the weekend. Simone is watching all the way from Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh, how did you find out about my live, Simone? And Simone said, I'm going to be cleaning, organizing, doing some artwork with my daughters. Oh, and having some wine. Okay. Is that all at the same time? Doing the art and drinking wine? Or is that more, well, I'm going to do the art with my daughters. And then once that's done, then it's time to reward me with the wine. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Tara said, for me, it's a little slow, just the way I like it. Yeah, man. I like those weekends where it's slow and it's exactly what you expected. So this is what I'm going to do now. If you are liking this live, you're finding it very helpful. I'd love it if you could click like and share it with somebody who might be on a juicing journey, or share it with somebody who has questions for me about my life in Jamaica. As you can hear, I have a British accent. I'm a British expat living in Jamaica. I'm going into my 13th year. I know that this was the best decision that I've ever made. No regrets. I love my life in regards to Jamaica helping with my mental health, helped with my career, and it helped me with my love life. Woo, woo, woo. All right, so let's see what this looks like. And let's see what it tastes like. Now, do you think this is a juice? Or you're like, nah, Natalie, why are you trying it for? It's a smoothie. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be tasting live. Oh my God, it's the hottest it's ever been in my life. I'm going to be tasting live so you can see everything in regards to how I feel. Now, with my vegetables and my fruits, I didn't use fruits this time. I just used vegetables. Sometimes when I do my fruits, when I do my juice, I'll use the same ingredients like choi, beetroot, banana, pineapple. And then sometimes you know, I might add cabbage, or I add cucumber, or I add carrots, or I don't add pak choi, I'll add kalaloo. In essence, what I'm saying is there is no strict program or list of ingredients that I use. So it's like every time I do my juices, I am drinking probably a different concoction or combination. Yeah, I'm drinking a different combination of juice. So yeah, my facial expressions are really authentic and sincere because I have no idea what it's going to taste like. But as I drink, I'm hopefully going to be able to explain to you what I'm tasting and what I'm feeling. Right, okay. Oh man. All right. I can taste the cucumbers. The cucumbers are making the drink taste very light. It's not heavy, right? I can taste the pak choi, which is an earthy, leafy green. So it's not like I'm drinking earth. It's a very earthy feeling and taste. Not like I do like go on the road and eat dirt, because that would just be nasty. I can taste the cabbage, and which is giving it a like sweetened taste. I actually can't taste the honey that much, but I definitely can taste the ginger. And obviously, you know, with the beetroot, it gives it that reddish purple color, as Tara had said. This is definitely a drink that I can drink very, very often. I'll be going backwards and forwards to the fridge because it's light and easy to consume. Yeah, man, this is beautiful. So my question to you is, when's the last time you created juice? And if you've never created juice before, now that you've seen me do this, are you thinking about creating juice? So let me go to the chat and see what's going on there. All right. So yes, Tara said you don't really. She said she adds pineapple. You don't need to add honey or any sweetener really when it's added to a juice. Absolutely, pineapple, banana, pretty much any fruit can substitute sugar as a natural sweetener, and that's because fruits have sugar in it. We just need to be careful the amount of fruits that we consume in the juice. But yeah, you don't really have to add honey, especially if you're a vegan, or you know, you're not doing honey because it comes out the bee's butty. Yes, so you might not want to use honey. What else have I got comments wise? Simone said I've subscribed to your channel. I'm a silent subby. Well, thank you, silent subby, for coming onto the live. I'm scattering out everything, doing some today and doing some tomorrow, but definitely having some wine today and tomorrow. Ella, laugh out loud. So what wine do you like, Simone? I have transitioned from drinking, give me a moment, everybody. I've transitioned from drinking. I started. Let me get my hair ready. While I'm talking to you, I'm just gonna get all these sorted. So I started with rosé when I first started drinking. Actually, no, I didn't. I actually started with white wine. I was introduced to someone at work. I used to work when I was working for Deloitte, and they introduced me to white wine. But I was told that typically people will start with rosé, go on to white wine, and then finish off drinking red wine. And that didn't happen to me though, because I never started with rosé. But I would say that I used to drink white, and my favorite was Pinot Grigio. I like dry wine. Sweet wine, it can drunk me very easily and very quickly. I have a headache in the morning. And now I drink Pinot Noir. I like Merlot. And if I can't afford it, or if I want something a little bit sweeter, I'll go for something like a Cabernet Sauvignon. I usually go with that. So Simone says she wishes she could be in JA. I actually made some green juice a couple of days ago. Oh, wonderful, Simone. What ingredients did you use for the green juice? I'm going to put some ice in this, by the way. Like when I drinking my juice, what I do actually first of all is I do this. I put the ice in, then I put the juice in like this, and then I add more water. I prefer to drink water than juice. I just forget to. I forget to drink the water. So the way that I kind of get to that sort of combo is I put a little bit of juice in, I put loads of ice in because it'll eventually become water, and then I put more water in, and it's just, oh my god, it's bad, man. Because I didn't put fruits in this one, this juice is much more earthy. It's like a green juice, but added beetroot. If I'd put like a little bit of banana in, sometimes I use star fruit because we've got a star fruit tree at the end of the car park. It would be a bit more sweet, but I intentionally sometimes don't add fruits because it's sweet, and I'm trying not to. I'm working on this area, and it's getting much better. My stomach is shrinking. I am doing upper body hits, lower body hits. I swim. I haven't been doing it for the last couple of weeks, but I would say I'm doing more than I have done in my life, and it's helping to sort this out, right? I've still got this to do, and a bit of the back fat, but I'm really, really pleased that I can put my jeans on and it looks like this, because I'm gonna tell you, 6 months ago it never looked like this. Okay, it never looked like this. All right, so I finished the juice. After I've done the juice goes in the fridge. Oh, this was another juice that I did a couple of days ago, but I hadn't finished it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do another one because I'm on live today. This has got banana, star fruit, cabbage, and I used a little bit of cherry juice from True Juice, because Mala likes True Juice, and I just used a bit of that just to give it a bit more volume. So that's what's left from that. I'll top this up. So there you have it, everybody. That is the juicing journey, my natural juicing journey. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about my juicing journey, as well as a bit about food. I mentioned ginger and flaxseed that I put into the ingredients. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about. I use those ingredients for food as well. And what I've been learning over the last sort of few months in my food journey, I don't know if you know, but I am a super foodie. And I did a video going back last year now, but if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. It's the 10 best places that I have eaten at in Jamaica. It's linked in the description below. It's, places in Kingston, places on the North Coast like Ochi, in Portland, and my boyfriend is the Rastafarian, and I stopped eating meat 2 years ago this December. So what you will see is the restaurants that we've gone to, where it's either a vegan restaurant, an Ital restaurant. My favorite dish, if we're pescatarian, so if I'm for my yam fish, it's going to be escovitch fish, and for my boy, my king, it is brown stew fish. He loves that, and that's one of the easiest fishes for me to cook for him as well. And I love brown stew. When I used to eat meat, I did a wicked piece of brown stew chicken, man. So it's doing brown stew fish is like doing brown stew chicken. So you can check out that video. It's linked below if you want to know some places, Simone, that you can go and eat when you decide to come and visit Jamaica or live in Jamaica. All right. So I'm going to take my juice now, and we are going to go and move from here, the kitchen, onto the balcony. I'm hoping that the security don't have their cell phone really loud, because for some reason they can't use their headphones when they're watching YouTube. Um, morning, noon, or night, they have it on loud. I don't know why. So I'm hoping it doesn't interfere too much in the background. So follow me while I go to the balcony, where I'm gonna check the chat, answer questions. If you're enjoying this live, feel free to share the live with persons that might be interested in what we're doing and what we're talking about. I'm gonna go and sit on the balcony. I'm gonna answer your questions, check in the comments, and talk a little bit about myself in a bit more detail. So I've got my book. I put some notes in there of what I'll talk about, just in case I don't have any questions, right? It's all about being proactive. Okay. And also, I didn't really check. Can you see the sweat, ladies? Man, I didn't check how strong the Wi-Fi is going to be. So I want to see if I can, give you a background of Jamaica. Yeah, these are our bikes. I haven't gone on the bike in kind of since like last year, or maybe the year before. He goes on it a lot though. So I'm just trying to find a good background. Let me know if that background's okay for you all. Ideally the sun, the light should be in front of me. But okay. So let me go to the chat, and I'm going to check your comments now. Big up Tara again. Welcome to Simone, all the way from Pennsylvania. Tara's all the way from the North Coast in Jamaica. I've got another question for you all. If you could go on holiday anywhere, and it can't be Jamaica, all right, I'm going to put a caveat on that. Where would you go? If you can go anywhere on holiday right now, can't be Jamaica, where would you go? And while you're thinking about that, Simone says you used to juice more often, but you've been a bit lazy. So what's making you more lazy in juicing? Because girl, I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of easy to juice. I just go in my fridge, take some stuff out, chop it up, and then put it in the blender. 3 minutes later, it's done. So tell us a little bit about why you've been so lazy. Tara says she's shamed to admit the last time that she juiced. Well, that must have been a minute then. Oh my gosh, that must have been a minute. So today's Saturday. The last time I juiced was Thursday morning. I'm a red wine. Simone's a red wine drinker, and she loves the sweeter wines. Well, I admire you for that, because I'm telling you now, girl, I can't manage the sweeter wines. They have wines you can drink that don't have sugar in it. You see, I didn't think it was the sugar that made me have a headache. I thought it was the alcohol content. Pinot Grigio, Chablis. Oh my gosh, I haven't had a Chablis in years, Tara. Shiraz. Oh, Zinfandel. Look at you, Tara. The wine connoisseur, the wine expert, the wine specialist. Simone says for her green juice, she had cucumber, spinach, ginger, celery, green apple, no sweetener. So with celery, um, when I first had celery and I added it to my juice, I kind of didn't realize just how strong celery is, Simone. So when I added it to my juice, like I asked Amani, and by the way, Amani's chat GPT, he gave me some advice. Clearly, I wasn't paying attention because I added quite a bit to it. And so when I was drinking it, I was like, God damn, that celery is strong. So I had to just rein it back next time. And I just add a little bit, like, I kind of add it like it's the portions are like, what? The portions are like the fruits. Don't put too much fruits in, don't put too much celery in. And green apple, I love green apple, but it's so expensive in Jamaica. It's expensive in Jamaica. So boy, green apples like once every 6 months. I'd love to, put things like spinach and kale, but damn, in Jamaica it's just way too expensive. Okay, so um, thanks for answering those questions. I still want to. The background looks good. Thanks, Tara. Um, I'll see you in a bit, Simone. Yeah, good. See the clouds in the distance. So I'm hoping that the rain kind of doesn't go any further than this. But to be perfectly honest, when I see the rain there, it's basically telling me that me soon forward, I'm coming to you soon, Natalie, the rain. So let's see how long the rain stays off, and hopefully by then the live would be finished. Tanzania. Okay, I found out that I've been pronouncing. I used to pronounce it Tanzania, but it's not. Is it Tanzania or yeah, it's Tanzania, isn't it? And I've been pronouncing it Tanzania. Tanzania. How embarrassing is that? Beautiful beaches and culture. Nice. Yeah, man. I think anywhere in Africa is beautiful, right? And culture wise. Okay. So just wipe myself. I want to talk to you a little bit about the flaxseed and the ginger that I added to my juice. So I learnt about flaxseed and ginger through somebody called Camilla McDonald, who is on IG. She's a certified nutritionist, trainer. She is an author. She has several restaurants in Jamaica, mainly in Kingston. And I am subscribed to a monthly subscription, and it's a holistic platform where people can come together in regards to living a more holistic and healthy life. And it's all based around 7 pillars, right? Eat well, drink well, move well, feel well, live well, sleep well, rest well. And she does masterclasses where she has guest presenters and hosts. She does masterclasses as well, all around these pillars. She brings in instructors and coaches to do live sessions, move well, whether it's yoga, Pilates, carbs, abs, upper body, lower body hit, all things like that. And she has hundreds of recipes that you can have access to, download recipes for juicing, for eating differently, gluten-free recipes, challenges like 21-day sugar challenge where you don't eat sugar, like lots and lots of different things that you can have access to, right? And so I joined it about 3 years ago and paid, I think it was about $30 a month. And so me, being active in the things that she offers, the benefits that she offers on the platform, like with the masterclasses on the Sunday, book clubs. Let's talk about the different types of ingredients that you can use in juices. One of these was flaxseed, and flaxseed is really good for your hormones. It's really good for boosting your hormones, and for your immunity as well. And you can get like flaxseed, which is the actual seeds itself, and you can grind them yourself, or you can get grounded flax seeds. Now, the grounded flax seeds are more expensive than the ones that aren't grounded. So I was like, let me do, just grind it myself. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that because it pretty much mashed up my blender. But in all fairness, right, it wasn't a blender which was super expensive, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I then transitioned to using flax seeds, um, with which are ground, and I'm going to go and get that. I'll be back. I can show you. So, um, so this is flaxseed, and as you can see, it says flaxseed meals. So I learned this from the Well Fit Club, which is, and it's a platform, an online platform, and I use this. So you can use it you can add it to your juices. Um, I'll read what it says. Dear friends, milling flax seeds is like opening a treasure chest. Flax seeds contain a wealth of nutrients, but as whole seeds, most of these nutritional treasures are locked away. Milling the seeds into meals give your body access to the amazing nourishment stored within. 2 tablespoons of Bob's Red Mill flaxseed meal contains 1,700 milligrams of omega-3 ALA and 3 grams of fiber. Contains 4 grams of total fat per serving. See nutrition information for fat content. Um, so, um, pretty much really, really healthy. There's lots of things that you can do with it. You can create everything crackers. There's a thing behind that gives you instructions. If you have any questions on the flaxseed, just ask me. Hopefully I can help you, or I'll just ask Armani. Simone said that's a very good brand. Thank you, Simone. I'm so glad for the validation, because this is all new for me. This whole nutritional lifestyle wellness journey, it's all new. Even though it's been 3 years, it's still very new. I learn every day. So I love the fact that you said that that's a very good brand. Simone says, loving your background. Thank you so much. So yes, I use this. You can use it in your juices, and then I started adding it to sauces that I make. So when I'm making brown stew fish for Mala, like usually when I do sauces, I will add your normal tomato, your fresh tomatoes, your scallion, your thyme, your scotch bonnet, your onion, all those things. We all know about that, sweet pepper and all them thing there, right? And to make it thicker, I'll add ketchup. Raise your hand if you add ketchup, even though ketchup is really unhealthy because it's really sweet. It's a lot of sugar in it, but boy, it thickens it up. But also I'll add gravy brand as well, because that helps. And if you have any other ideas of how I can thicken up the sauces, let me know, drop it in the chat. But I noticed when you add flax seeds, it actually makes it more thicker as well. So this is what it looks like. You see? And it's just grounded up together. It's just easier. So add about 2 teaspoons in, and mighty God of Daniel, wow, it's thick, and the sauce, and it's much healthier than using ketchup. So that's my story about my flaxseed journey. Let me know in the chat if you've used it for anything apart from what I've said, sauces or juices, or just let me know if you've used it. Simona said you can use cornstarch to thicken your sauce as well. Is cornstarch healthy, Simone? I've heard a lot about cornstarch. Like I do watch on TikTok. I see a lot of videos that come through my algorithm because of what I like to watch about tofu, because I'm in love with tofu. I've got a love journey with tofu. I experiment with a lot of different things with tofu, and some persons mention that you can add cornstarch to tofu, in the seasoning, in the flavoring, when you fry it. So maybe it is good. But I'm gonna investigate and invest, Simone, into cornstarch to thicken my sauce. All right, let's talk about ginger now, right? So I never knew with ginger, right, that you can actually use ginger as part of your staple for your seasoning. Did you know that, everybody? Like, let me know in the chat. Did you know that with us using, like, what staple seasoning do you use when you cook? So when I mean staple, I mean, like, for me, I've got my onion, my sweet pepper, right, my scallion, my thyme, my Scotch bonnet, and sometimes I'll use fresh tomatoes, but I prefer my tomatoes for my salad, right? So I learned this a couple of months ago as well. So Camilla now does a live cooking demo at one of her restaurants locations, and the location that she does the live demo is Marketplace. And if you are familiar with Kingston, it is Marketplace, obviously. If you're not familiar with Jamaica, the location is in Kingston. You literally just type in Marketplace. Marketplace, you could say, is a plaza, and it has multiple restaurants. It has a nightclub. It has a medical cannabis dispenser. It has lots of, those. It's really a place that you'd go like on a Friday night for drinks with your girlfriends, for drinks with your man, for drinks after work. And that's where her restaurant is, for those of you who don't live in Jamaica. And if you live in Jamaica, it's Marketplace. And it's about 5 minutes from where I live. So I always go to her live demos, because it literally is just, I just come up to my main road, take a left, go to the end of the main road, and I'm there. And I think she does it every first and third Wednesday each month. You can find out more on her IG page. Her website, her IG handle is I am Camilla McDonald, and I'll write that in the chat for you as well. She started that back in June, beginning of June. And essentially the live demo is she decides like what she's going to cook, and you come down for a couple of hours and she cooks in front of you. And while she's cooking, she's talking about the ingredients, she's talking about the benefits, why you should be using it, and the scientific backed data and information as well, right? There's always a story behind it as well. And so I started going there, and the first live demo that she did, she cooked my God, the food is so nice. I always make sure I don't eat before I go down there. So she cooked a curry chickpea, and one of the staples that she used was ginger. Did you all know that? So so just like you got your sweet pepper, you got your onion, your scallion, everything like that. Satara says, I use ginger powder in everything. Laugh out loud. Yeah, girl, you have to laugh out loud. Laugh at me, because me didn't even know that. I didn't know. I was just using ginger to sweeten the juice. I know that every time I buy natural juice at the ITIL shops, vegan shops, Rasta shops, you know what I mean, you can just taste the ginger. I'm like, how much ginger you put in it? So I was just like, just use it for the juice. Apparently you can use it in your seasoning. I said, I want it outside. So she chopped up a whole heap of ginger, and she poured it into, and she, when she's frying, all the staple ingredients, right? The ginger's all fried into there, and she used another ingredient, Tara. She used honey. I was like, what you learn every single minute of your life. Honey to add to curry. So now, girl, everybody, I use ginger pretty much as a staple in everything. I'm surprised that my other half is not tired of it. Right. Actually, he did say to me, where did you learn about adding ginger? Or say something like that. Something like, where did you learn about adding ginger? Or why are you adding ginger to the flavoring? And I was just like, Camilla, Camilla McDonald, just like, I learned about it that way. And I don't just learn from Cam, I also learn from watching things on YouTube or TikTok or wherever it might be, especially when I'm, experimenting with plant forward food, vegan based food, making sure that I get protein because we don't eat meat, but we do eat fish, which, as pescatarians, but just making sure that I get the right balance in all of the the nutrients that I need because I no longer eat meat, right? And so yeah, man. So now I use ginger, chop it up. Like I use ginger in everything now, but the best ingredient, one of the best ingredients for curry, whether it's curry chunks. Anybody heard of gluten? Mala's mum introduced me to gluten, that I cook now. It's, first of all, it's an acquired taste, but I'll use curry gluten. I create curry gluten and I use this curry gluten, and I eat chunks as well. It reminds me now, after I've got used to cooking with it and, refining it and tweaking it in how I want it to taste, it reminds me of curry mutton on a Sunday with rice and peas. That's the level that I've been able to create it at, with my Irish and everything. It kind of bad still, and because I'm using garlic, the honey, I use also. What else do I use? Fennel. I always use about three different types of curry seasoning. I learned that several years ago, because it just strengthens, makes the curry different, gives it different variety and flavoring. So yeah, that's my journey with ginger and flaxseed. So I have a question for you. What things have you learned in your journey of just cooking, right? Doesn't have to be being a vegetarian or pescatarian, but what tricks or hacks have you learned, or that you've been surprised about in your cooking journey? So I'm going to go to the chat. Um, So, shout out to Simone and Tara again. I appreciate you messaging and putting comments in. I know that there are people, I can see people watching but not commenting. So, big up yourself, even if you're not commenting. I love the silent people that are just thinking about what I'm saying. I hope it's helpful. Thank you so much for the likes and the loves. I appreciate it. I love seeing emojis. So, feel free to add more emojis, whatever you're thinking and what you're feeling. Sometimes it's just easier to just, use an emoji rather than type. But obviously, I love the typing as well. So let's go to the chat. When used in moderation, it's fine. You only need a very small amount. Is that the cornstarch that you're talking about, Simone? Just to use in a small amount. Definitely ginger is good to cook with, helps to enhance the flavor of the food. Yeah, man, Simone, I can't believe it, man. I'm just like, I'm obsessed with ginger. And because it's healthy as well, it boosts your immunity. It helps with, in inflammation. It's just amazing. It's just, oh my gosh. Ginger powder. Yeah, man, I see ginger powder, Tara, in the supermarkets and stuff, but I never put two and two together, really. Nothing is worse when you say the last piece of meat or saltfish, thinking is that when you realize it was just a Tara, when you actually, as I'm reading what you wrote a couple of days ago, I was on Facebook, and do you know a Jamaican comedian called Julie Mango? Hope I pronounced her name correctly. She kind of blew up during the pandemic, right? So she done a video where she was eating curry chicken, like at a restaurant, and she's like, "Yeah, man, I love the curry chicken. I'm looking forward to nyamming this." So she started nyamming it, and she thought that there was a piece of curry chicken that she bit into. It was actually a piece of ginger, and I bust out laughing because it's true, And then I see what you wrote, Tara. So Simona says, "Oh my gosh, curry chickpea is awesome." So Simone, are you just a foodie, or are you a vegetarian or vegan, or you just basically just love eating good food? Um, I was just thinking of, is there any videos that I've done on YouTube about food? No, I've got the 10 places that I eat. Um, I do have a playlist. It's unfiltered, unedited Sundays. Like basically, I just edited videos like replays, and I just post them on a Sunday. And I do talk about my journey with food, my journey giving up meat, my juice journey, and the impact that it's made on me mentally, physically, and emotionally. So that's a playlist that y'all might want to check out. The link will be below after I've done the live. Um, Never had it before, Simone. Can you make it too? Make what too? Oh, curry chickpea. I've been working on mastering how to make Jamaican fried chicken, Simone says. And I must say, I think I finally got the magic touch to making Jamaican fried chicken. Oh, well, you're going to have to tell us that, right? Because Tara is a Jamaican, right? Born and bred in Jamaica. I was born and bred and raised in the UK, but my parents are Jamaican. So I'm sure me and Tara would love to know how, what you've done to perfect it, and you could share some of your tips and hacks with us, Simone. Simone says, I just love to eat tasty, good food. Yeah, man. I mean that too as well. Probably why, Simone, it was really easy for me to transition to stop eating meat, right? Because I love food. I love to cook food and prepare food for people. And I love to go out and eat. So, and I love to buy food. So when I actually thought that it was going to be quite difficult, because I ain't gonna lie, I will deal with a curry goat and I'll box off an oxtail like almighty. Oxtail bad. You peel off all the meat and then you just get to the bone and suck it. So it's like two stages of eating your dinner. You understand, right? That's the level that I was under with my oxtail. Okay. So those are my two favorite meals. And when I lived in France, steaks. Yeah, I did like my steaks, but only in France. No other country. No England, no Jamaica, no the US. Nobody can cook steaks like the Parisians can do. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, and that's when I learnt about eating medium rare. Because first of all, I was telling the waiter, the waitresses, I was like, can you well done it, bun it up, and they're looking at me like I said some swear word. And I was like, yeah, me no want to see no blood. And they were like, what? And then I lived there for 2 years. So over the 2 years, I went to Apua, which is medium rare. And I ain't gonna lie, yeah, when there's blood in it, yeah, bud. Because when you do it well done, you are cooking out every single flavor. You're literally burning it out, right? So all you have is just a dead piece of meat. But when it's medium rare, when it's medium well done, when it's rare, well, I ain't gonna go that. I ain't gonna go that level. I ain't gonna go rare or blue. The flavoring is beautiful. Tastes better. But anyway, I don't yum meat no more. But because I love food, so for me, like fried fish, ackee and saltfish, callaloo and saltfish, cabbage and saltfish, brown stew fish, roast fish, steamed fish, all those, and thank God, man, as a pescatarian, 'cause I don't know if I could manage being a plant-based vegan. Yeah, that would be rough. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'm not even really bothered about the protein. I just couldn't do that. You understand? Like, just tofu, or and there's lots of things that I'm following quite a lot of TikTok creators that are chefs, or just cook in their house, vegan based, plant based food, ital food. Like, I see what they do, man. I see it, and the food nice, but boy, I need something a bit more than plants. Tara. You know what I mean? Like, I like the beans. Like, I love lentils. I love split peas. I love chickpeas. I love black eyed peas. I love black beans, kidney beans, all those beans, I can find a way to cook with it. Whether I roast them, I'll boil them and make a stew, or I'll cook them and make rice and peas, or I'll cook them and I'll add them to salads, or I'll cook the peas, all these peas that I've mentioned, and I'll add them to like pastas and stuff. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, but I ain't gonna lie, you know, I can't give up the salmon, man, because the salmon wicked, man. I just can't do it. We just can't do it. We're not gonna do it. We're gonna keep the salmon. We're gonna keep the fish. Like big up to everybody that's been vegan from their born and they're proud of it. You know, obviously you were proud of it because you don't know different. But when you know meat Tara, you know fish, we're not really proud of it. Forgive us for not for eat the things. So I'm just gonna move it the background a little bit so you can see a bit more of Jamaica. Actually, maybe I should just leave it here, right? I don't know. I don't even know why. Why did I fast up myself and do that, right? There's just no need for it, Natalie. I was trying to be perfect. Like, oh, we don't want to see the bike. It's like, get over yourself, Natalie. Just leave the bike. Make it be natural. That's the whole point of, why I do these lives, because I want you to see my life, right? So let me go back into the chat. Um, So Tara says, I'm gonna try flaxseed, see how the gravy come out. I normally add it to my cornflakes. See, I didn't even know you could add to that to the cornflakes. Also, I didn't even know you ate cornflakes. But yeah, man, big up yourself, Tara. Um, Nothing is worse when you save the last. Yep, I've been working on. Yes, I can make curry chickpea. Yes, Natalie, I was referring to the cornstarch. Just a very small amount in is needed with water to thicken your sauce. Bless up. I will try that, Simone. Simone says, when I lived in Japan, I learned how to make Asian dishes. My gosh, so I was doing some research while talking to Armani, because whenever I want to create dinner, I will message Armani and say, these are all my ingredients that I've got. And a few months ago, Armani had summarized to me the type of food that I cook based on the ingredients that I use. And she said, you have an infusion of Caribbean, Asian, and Mediterranean food. I was like, ba, 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 ba. Me love the Middle East, me love the Middle East, me love the Middle East. So I was very happy about that. I was very, very happy about that. Um, which for me it makes sense because when I visited the Philippines a few times, like their food, whether it was meat or non-meat, because at the time I was eating meat, I was just like, why is it I could just easily pick up myself and live in the Philippines? Because their food is just wicked, their food is just bad, their food is just awesome, right? I could do the same living in the Middle East. I could do the same living in India. Like seriously, I'd just be like, I told you I'm a foodie. And like I said, I do have a video of the 10 best places that I think I've eaten in Jamaica. The link is in the description. You can check that out there. Also on my website, I have several free ebooks that you can download for free. No sign up required. And they're ebooks around superfoods that you can eat, right? There's some ebooks even around meats that you can eat, ingredients that, recipes that you can make. So I'm going to link that in the description as well after the live. You can head over to my website. Like I said, all of these ebooks are free. Just click download and that's it. It's done. You have it. Um, um, Simone says peas are very good, source of protein and fiber. Yeah, Simone, you know the things, man. Like, so glad that you're sharing this because it just reinforces what I've been learning. Like, Simone, man, you need to check out like what I'm a member of, which is the Well Fit Club. Like, you would love that club because all the things that you're chatting about and that you're sharing, they share as well. You probably, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why would she join that if she already knows? But it's more of a community of people who choose to live intentionally healthy, right? And not just healthy in what they eat and consume, but how they think and how they feel, making sure they rest well, the importance of sleeping well, the importance of living well. So yeah, man, I feel so you'd like that as well. I used to work with 90% of Filipinos. Tara, is kind of like Simone. Maybe Simone, it makes sense why you subscribe to my channel, because all the things that you're sharing is very similar, or there's some type of connection, or at least one can generate a conversation with you. We can have a conversation about stuff, which is really cool. All right. So it's 1 hour and 8 minutes, and I said that I was going to do 2 hours. Just because, from a YouTube algorithm perspective, it takes a little while for YouTube to push out my lives, and if you're below 5,000 subs, they don't really prioritize you, right? So that's why I'm on the live a little bit longer, so that it gives time for the YouTube algorithm to say, okay, maybe I will actually push Natalie's live out to more people. Also, the more that we write in the comments, it flags to YouTube. Oh, okay, there's some engagement going on. So that means I might, push it up the algorithm and push it more out to people. When you click like or you push emojis out, YouTube's like, oh, so people are engaged. Okay, so we're going to do a bit more. So thank you very much for writing in the chat, Simone and Tara. Thank you for your emojis and your hearts, and for whoever clicked like. I appreciate that, because that helps my live get pushed out. And if you want, feel free to share with others. All right. So Simone says, I used to work alongside nutritionists, and I was once. Well, girl, that makes sense then. Did you hear that? Did you read that, Tara? That makes sense. Why what you're sharing, I'm like, I didn't know that, or I knew that, or thank you, because that builds on what I already know. You see, these silent subbies, they have a lot to say and share, only when they feel comfortable in doing it. So big up yourself, Simone. I'm really glad that you feel comfortable in sharing on this live. All right. So I spent a bit of time talking about wellness and my journey and my transition to living more intentionally in my life around my health, right? Because your health is your wealth. Okay. If you ain't got your health, you ain't got shit. If you ain't got your health, you ain't got nothing. So I take my body really, really seriously now as my temple, and the life decisions and the life choices that I've made have been the right decisions. And I feel so much different in my body. I feel different emotionally, mentally as well. Obviously, living in Jamaica helps. My king helps as well. Doesn't like me talking about a lot. Doesn't like me talking about him on live. So I can't talk too much or talk too loud. But he definitely has the light of my life, man. My king. Anyway, so I thought I'd switch it up a little bit and talk a little bit about my, me being British and living in Jamaica for 13 years. Like, what is it like? And I don't really want to repeat the things that I've said in the past, right, on my YouTube videos. So if you want to get to know me a bit more about why I decided to move to Jamaica, you can watch this video, which is kind of come on the screen. Now, I'm saying it's going to come on the screen, ladies, because when I come to edit, I will there will be a thumbnail that will come on the screen of the video. So if you're thinking, where is it, Natalie? Why is it not on the screen? It's because if you watch the edited replay that I will post in a couple of weeks, then you'll see it. So there's a video, there's two videos, part 1 and part 2 story about why I moved to Jamaica. It's linked in the description below. This is the first video that I created. It talks about a few reasons as to why I moved to Jamaica, and then this other video, there's a little bit of a story behind that. It wasn't supposed to be a second video, but when I was creating the first video, I wanted to talk about several reasons why I decided to move to Jamaica. And then when I finished recording and come to the editing, I was like, I forgot to talk about the other reason. So I made the second video, which is this video, which talks about another reason why I moved to Jamaica. And it's all around embracing my Jamaican culture. Being born and raised in the UK and not knowing until you're 25 years old that your parents are Jamaican. Yeah, that shit can mess a girl up. that can mess somebody up, man. And it kind of did. But then when I realized and found out that my parents are Jamaican, my parents weren't born in Jamaica. Sorry, my parents weren't born. My parents were Jamaican and weren't born in the UK. The UK, it everything made sense. Everything made sense. And then when I came to visit Jamaica for my 25th birthday, I was like, oh my gosh, everything makes sense. So yeah, so you can check out that video if you want to know a bit more about why I moved to Jamaica, get to know me a bit more. I don't want to really repeat that on the live. There's no point in doing that. Let me go to the chat. Haha, he's a private person. That's it. Yes, Simone, he's very, very private. Simone, he is. I shouldn't even be saying that he's private. That's how private he is. Oh my god. Okay, right. And Tara knows. I'm surprised he's still with me after 4 years. He doesn't even like me if I'm on Instagram, or anything, any social media. He doesn't even like me tagging him, or like if I see something and I like say, oh yeah, makes sense. What do you think? He doesn't even like me tagging him in the comments. See, I need to shut up. I'm gonna stop. And I'll edit that out as well when I come to edit the live replay. But I thought I'd switch up the content, the topics a little bit, and just talk a little bit about my life in Jamaica, or why I decided to move to Jamaica, or kind of like what my experience has been in Jamaica. So if you have any questions, Simone or Tara, I'm not sure Tara will. Tara's known me, what? How long have I been in Kingston? 10 years. So Tara's known me 10 years. So she pretty much knows all about me. But if you have any questions, Tara, drop it in the chat and I'll answer them. Simone, my quiet subby, if you have any questions, wanting to know, but you got a British accent, you live in Jamaica and you've been there for 13 years. Like, how did that work out? Feel free just to ask me anything. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, my time here. One of the things that I wrote down before the live started was a question. What do you miss from the UK now that you live in Jamaica? And it was extremely difficult to answer that, even just thinking about it and making some notes in preparation for this live. It was very, very difficult. And it was difficult because I had nothing to write. I did write one thing. No, well, it was difficult because I had nothing to write, in the sense it took me a minute. Like, when I say a minute, I mean like it took me about 10 minutes to actually think of what I miss in the UK. And I was processing it. I was going through, I was listing. And all I could think of was no. And I was thinking about what other people would miss living in a different country if they were born and raised in the UK, right? And I was thinking, well, that's not like that for me. It's not like that for me. So I spent a bit more time internalizing, and I wrote down, I miss fish and chips. I'm laughing because I realized that I really am a foodie because I'm missing food. And it's not like the food in England is nice, because it's nasty. And if you don't like what I said, I saw it go. English people can't cook, okay? They can't. They're always like, yeah, we're having our Sunday roast. The Sunday roast is nasty. But when you add seasoning to it, like you season up the chicken, right? You don't buy gravy from a packet or a can, but you actually make the gravy, yeah? When all your meats are like seasoned, like there's sauce, like I just repeated myself there, but yeah, that's what makes Sunday roast nice. Because when I see these pictures on my Facebook, I talk more about Facebook because the older generation, my age group, will be on Facebook posting, here's my Sunday roast, and it looks nasty, right? But if I post my Sunday roast, my Sunday roast done up till it buck, okay? With your beef or your chicken, your roast potatoes, your Yorkshire pudding, your peas. Now, and see them, they don't have rice like we do, okay? On a Sunday, the rice and peas go to the Sunday roast, because how can you not? Anyway, I'm kind of digressing. I'm diverting from what what I was talking about. So I wrote down I miss fish and chips, and I do, because the fish and chips that you get in these restaurants in Jamaica, or even in the US, or wherever I've been, whether it's Guatemala or the Philippines, on the menu it says traditional fish and chips. In the hotels, fish and chips. I'm like, why are you lying? Yeah, God don't like liars. That's a lie from the pit of hell, because it's not. Okay, right. So the only place that does it right is England. Fish and chips, battered fish, and then the chips are thick, and then you put your salt and the vinegar on it. Yeah, that's probably one of the things that I miss in the UK. And then I thought about the weather, and I was like, why would you miss the weather, Natalie? I mean, look at me. It's 10 past 4 in the afternoon, and I'm wearing this, and I'm hot. I'm warm. I feel cool. I'm going to stop because I need to do something. Sorry, everybody, but that's going to be edited out. I don't want to be speaking when I'm doing it. So I was thinking about the weather. Like, do you really wish the weather, Natalie? And I was actually thinking to myself, yeah, I do. So let me just walk through why I say I do. And it wasn't until I went back to the UK in 2016 that I realized that I did miss the weather. So, and, it's components of the weather. So in the UK, it's the air is crisper. It's not as thick. And I didn't notice that until I went back to the UK on a holiday, and that's when I realized. So when you're breathing, it just feels it's like your lungs are more clearer. It's like the air that's flowing through is very light, and I like that. I like that feeling. And when you're in Jamaica, it's humid. Okay, it's hot, and whilst there is a breeze, when you're breathing, it's muggy and thick. So that's what I miss, and obviously that's going to happen in the UK because it's cold like ice. So it's more logical that when I'm breathing in the air, it's much thinner. So I miss that, right? I don't miss it enough to move back to the UK. You're sick in your head. We ain't going nowhere. And then the other piece that I wrote down was the snow. Like, and I think the snow is more directed to memories than actually, oh, I miss the snow and I want to go back to the snow, because the snow is cold. Okay. It's cold. It's not nice. Like, it's beautiful when it starts snowing, and it lands on the ground, and you're like, oh my God, it looks so pretty, because it really is pretty when it snows. And the first night you can see the sun, sorry, not the sun, the sky. And even though it's night and dark, the snow, it brightens up the whole area, right? Because it's white, right? And it's just beautiful. And for some reason, when it snows, everything around you is quiet. Maybe because ain't nobody that crazy to be on the road driving, but it's just like this blanket of snow gives this blanket of quietness, and you're inside with the heating on, or you've got the fire burning, you know what I mean? Not literally, there's no fire, you know, the fire. If you've got I can't remember what you call them. What do you call them things in the fireplace, right? And you have your cup of tea and stuff like that. It's very cozy. It's a really beautiful feeling and emotion and memory. But let's be very clear. And nobody got no time to be freezing. No, to be like, yeah, you're warm in the house, and the minute you walk outside, it's freezing cold. As soon as the snow melts, it turns into black ice. So you drop on the side when you're trying to get to your the car, right? Or you see people walking past, right? And they're sliding down the pavement. When you're in the car, you're driving and you're skidding you're going to the left. So even though I might like the snow, and I miss the snow and those memories, I remember the other nasty, dirty memories here at the freezing cold, of the snow when it turns to black ice, and ain't nobody trying to be on the road when it's black ice. The amount of accidents that happen, because when the snow melts and turns into black ice. So even though I miss the snow, yeah, I don't miss the after effects of the snow. And to be perfectly honest, Yeah, it's nice having a cup of tea or drinking something warm and being inside in the warmth. But you know how expensive it is for the electricity, for the heating. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to be doing that. I don't need to be locked up in my house because it's too cold. I want to be out on road. I want the windows open. Okay. I don't need to be going outside. And in the moment I got, and knowing that I've got to put on my boots, must put on socks, tights, boots, jeans, jumper, cardigan, scarf, gloves, and a hood. Yeah, that's not the life that I need to be living. Okay. So that's probably what I miss the most. Fish and chips, foodie, the snow, and just the air. It's much thinner. So let me go to the chat and see what's going on in the chat. Oh, thanks, Simone. Yeah, that's very true. We do complete each other. Yeah, we do. They say opposites attract, which is very true, but also opposites can also wind each other up, can be like, what is it? I was going to say honey and vinegar, but it's not honey and vinegar. Is it water and vinegar? I don't know. Whatever doesn't mix together, opposite attract can be really, really bad. But not for us. It's symbiotic. Us two. We are two halves that found each other, and we we create and finish that jigsaw. It's completion. Me and him. Yeah. And I just like to say, whenever I think about me and Mallard, what comes to mind is this sentence: "It's easy like Sunday morning." It really is. Even when we have our down days, it's still easy like Sunday morning. It's just easy, very very easy. Simone has said, "How long would you say it took you to adjust to lifestyle and culture in Jamaica?" Honestly, Simone, why am I saying honestly? Why do people say honestly before they start something? It's weird. I'm still adjusting to Jamaica. Every day I learn something different. Every day I find myself thinking, oh my goodness, that's the adjustment, right? But if I'm thinking in the sense of adjusting where you had to say, oh my God, if I can't do this, I've got to go back, or I've got to go back in the first week. The moment that I landed in Jamaica, I'd already made that decision that um, this was it for me. This Jamaica's going to be fine for me. So where people may have complained about, sometimes we don't have, sometimes the water gets locked off, right? Sometimes electricity gets locked off and goes back on, and you get the tripping out, or the hurricanes that happen. Because I was living in Montego Bay first, and the first place to get a light is Kingston, and Montego Bay, you're waiting for a minute because we're country, or the banks are, when you go there, it's, you might as well just go there all day because you're going to be there all day. Customer service is not great here. Like all of those things, one could say that was an adjustment, and it takes a while to adjust. But it wasn't for me. I adjusted straight away because I'd already made a conscious decision that I'm okay with this, and I'm going to be okay with it because life here is better than England. Um, I think moving to Kingston, Simone, helped me adjust a bit more easier because Kingston, quote unquote, is like London or like a city, and there's more access to things. In Montego Bay where I lived, actually I didn't live in Montego Bay. I lived Montego Bay. I lived outside Montego Bay. I lived Spot Valley, Ryan Park. So, like, there's only in Montego Bay, there's like one of everything. In Kingston, there's like 10 of that one of everything in Montego Bay. Uh, when you need to go to the governmental offices, most of the time the governmental offices are in Kingston. Okay. Um, if something was going to be delivered and it was out of stock, you'd have to wait because it's coming from Kingston. Okay. Like Price Mart was in Kingston. So, but this is going back 13 years, and Tara can attest to this, right? To say a lot has changed, you know, in 13 years. Like, you know, 13 years ago, there wasn't a Mega Mart. There's a Mega Mart there now. You know, they've built up Witter Village. So, you know, there's a KFC there where before you had to go all the way into Montego Bay for the one dead KFC. Well, actually, there was two, actually. But the second one, you'd have to get two taxis to go to the second one, which is out of Fairview. And, you know, if you ain't got no car, you want to take the one taxi to go into town and just go to that one, which is queued. Where if you went to the second one, it's not as bad. Like, so a lot more has changed. You know, the Knutsford has got so much better now. They've got more routes and things. So 13 years ago, it was harder to adjust because of the access to things. So when I moved to Kingston in 2015, my adjustment got easier. Did that answer your question, Simone? How long would you say it took to adjust? And I moved to Jamaica in 2012 and I moved to Kingston 2015. Yeah. But there was some wicked things about living on the North Coast, right? Because you had Sunfest. So it ain't no 2.5 hours from Kingston to go Sunfest. It was like 15 minutes drive for me to get to Sunfest. Access to the beaches were much more quicker. Right? You know, a decent beach here, you've got like St. Mary, which is, you got Strawberry Fields, which is a good 45 minutes, an hour away. Or you've got like, is it what's the beach next to Hellshire? I can't remember, Tara. You got some beaches around there, but they're not really that nice. But on the North Coast, you know, anything between 15 and 20 minutes. When I was living in St. James, you had Borough Beach. I was like on the border of Falmouth as well. So those were the things that I loved living on the North Coast. I don't really like inner city or you know, like that. So I'm very excited to eventually move back to the North Coast. Kingston will not be the place that we live for the foreseeable future. I will want to move to the North Coast and I'll be moving to St. Anne. That's the plan. Just working towards that now. Fish and chips with beer batter. Yeah, I've tried that. That kind of nice still as well, Simone. You know your things, man. Girl, you've been around. And if you haven't been around, you've been researching and testing and trying. Simone says, I like the snow when it's light and fluffy and when it's heavy, not when it's heavy and wet. When it's light and fluffy, it's beautiful. I've taken photos and just been like, oh my God, this is just so amazing. And then a few days later, it's like, this is disgusting. This is hell on earth. It's just horrible. It's just a big contrast, man. Kingston has a lot more to offer. Yes, it does, Simone. And so I didn't realize that I hadn't fully adjusted until I came to Kingston, right? Everything is, you know, jump in a taxi, you're there, you can walk, you're there. There's more nightclubs, there's more things to do. Like there's things to do on the North Coast, but it's more beaches, like beach parties, beach this. In Kingston, you have your multiple supermarkets as well as Price Mart. For my British passport back in the day, you had to come to Kingston. I don't think you have to come to Kingston anymore. I'm not sure, but to get my British passport renewed, to, you know, where I live off Constant Spring Road, and Constant Spring Road is one of the main roads into Kingston. So it's very central for me to get to lots of places. If I don't have the car, I can literally walk out 2 minutes onto Constant Spring Road and I can get a taxi which will take me in, or bus takes me into Halfway Tree. You know, from there I can then go to downtown, or I can go to New Kingston. Like, it's very easy in central where I live. Where when I lived in Rhyme Park, which is Spot Valley, I lived pretty much next door to Rose Hall, Montego Bay Convention Centre. So when I came off the hill, you took a left and you saw, you know, you got the Convention Centre of Rose Hall, and opposite me was the Hilton. But yeah, you needed a car, mate, and I know taxis run after a certain time, and there weren't no Witter Village wasn't built up like it was 13 years ago. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Simone. I love St. Anne's. I stayed there last year in Runaway Bay. So you've been to Jamaica. How many times have you been to Jamaica, Simone? Yeah, Runaway Bay, as Bounty Killer says, keep running away, guys. Please don't mute me or block me for saying that. YouTube. It's just what Bounty Killer says. Yeah, St. Anne is my favourite parish. Manner's mother's side of the family is from St. Anne. So he used to go there a lot in the summer holidays. When I first started visiting Jamaica, I was visiting St. Anne a lot, Ocho Rios, Runaway Bay, Salem, Discovery Bay, D Bay, Brownstown, Charlton, Calderwood, 9 Miles, Marmy Bay, like just that whole line. And I thought about where we would live when we moved to St. Anne. And funnily enough, Simone, I want to live more Discovery Bay end. Like since Draxhall has been built up, it's just horrendous. And I'm not sure how we're going to survive in doing our supermarket shopping because that's the only really thing that I probably am concerned about, because everything else you can do online. But all around Draxhall, Mammy Bay is just gridlock since they've built up that area. They didn't do it very smart. They just saturated that area rather than build out. And don't worry, it's not just Jamaica that does that. It was done in where I used to live in Kent, Medway Town, Strood. They just built everything in, and the traffic was just horrendous rather than moving out and building out. So I probably like Runaway Bay area, D Bay area, even a little bit further. Like I'm okay living on the border of Trelawney and St. Anne, um, because we've got a car, and also it gives me the flexibility if I needed to go to Montego Bay, to St. James or anything. I can, it's just like an hour and 15 minutes, and it's a little bit further for Kingston, but I see it more as well. Barring the traffic, it's probably about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes for me to get to Mammy Bay, the roundabout, and then the highway. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me in what I miss from the UK, which is not a lot. And then I said to myself, what else could I talk about in regards to Jamaica? Let me actually go to the chat first. You were born in Jamaica. Well, that makes sense, Simone. Relocated to the States at a very young age, went back to jail when I was 15, and then been to visit when I can, which isn't that often. All the pieces are coming together, Simone. Well, big up yourself, and thank you for being on this, watching this live. I really appreciate you being here pretty much the whole of the live. I know you popped off a little bit, but I appreciate your support, and I hope that this live has allowed you to get to know me a little bit better. I will be doing lives. I do them. I just took a little bit of a break in the month of July. I've been working on some other projects. I work for myself. I'm a solo entrepreneur, so as well as a content creator, but I also run an HR and training consultancy company. And I work with clients coaching. I do business coaching and life coaching, and I also work with companies as well, doing L&D training. So it's I've been getting and securing more business, which is wonderful, but I've had to balance that with my content creation, and so I put my pauses on live. That's so funny. Simone is actually supposed to say I put my lives on pause. I said I put my pauses on live. I put my lives on pause so that I could focus on that. So, end of June, I was asked to be a host for a graduation ceremony for a school. The Jamaica Association Children with Disabilities. I believe that's what it's called. It's so long ago now. Well, it wasn't real long ago, but I was the host for that, for the graduation ceremony. So that took a few days of planning and content design and stuff like that as their MC and host. And I'm also working with a new client I can't say much about that yet, but looking forward to when I can. But that's kind of taking me away from content creating, as well as being able to do my lives. But this morning I was uploading a video and I thought to myself, I'm going to do a live, right? I've got some scripts that I've written to do some recordings, which I'm going to be recording over the next couple of days. It's all about Jamaica. Going to be answering some questions from previous lives. I'm going to be building on some topics as well. So I want to talk a bit more about the Jamaican and the UK culture and the work environment. And there's a couple more videos I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be restarting my masterclasses that I do on a Monday. They are 10 to 15-minute lives. And I do masterclasses in real skills that you need, whether it's I'm struggling in managing my time, I just don't feel motivated. I want to know how to set goals and live more intentionally. It could be I'm struggling with communicating at work with my team members. Like, it's all around personal and professional skills that we need every day in our lives. So those masterclasses are going to be starting back in August. I stopped in June to have a break so I could reset and just take a little bit of time to do my other side of business. So I'm going to be starting back that up in a few weeks' time. That will be on a Monday, 6 p.m. EST, and it's usually about 10 to 15 minutes long. Unless, people are in the chat talking, then I will obviously spend time in answering questions from the chat. So yeah, that's me. Simona says, I'm also a life coach. My goodness. My degree in social work. Wow. A lot of people do say that when people subscribe to people's channels or follow people on TikTok or Instagram, it's because there's a connection, and it could be an emotional connection. It could be a connection in regards to the lifestyle that they live, the life choices that they make, or what they represent. And, Simone, pretty much what you shared in this chat today, it's like, wow, there's so many things that overlap in our similarities and in who we are and what we do. And I really appreciate you sharing parts of your life and your journey. Yeah, I like that. So I've got about 20 minutes left and then I'll be leaving. If you have any more questions, Simone and Tara, please feel free to ask. I thank you for liking this live. If you haven't shared already, feel free to share the live, because I've got a little bit more, about 20 minutes 20 minutes more left. There was something that I wrote down. Like, what has, living in Jamaica, what have I learned and what has that taught me? Now, I do have a video that I posted a few weeks ago, and I answer a question, which is, would I ever go back to the UK, right? And so I'm going to link that in the description below as well. I got to remember all the things that I said that I'm going to link in the description. There's so many videos that I said I was going to do. I can't even remember them. Oh my gosh. I said a lot of videos. So I'm going to have to reflect on that. And I'm going to have to watch the videos again. Give me a sec. Let me just get a pen. All right. This is so that I can write them down. So the videos that I mentioned was 10 places to eat in Jamaica. Why I moved to Jamaica, part 1 and 2. I mentioned this video, which is around why I wouldn't go back to the UK. I also mentioned ebooks of juices to make and superfoods as well. This is just to make sure that after this live, I'm going to find all the links so that I can put it in the live when it's done. So 10 places to eat in Jamaica, why I moved to Jamaica, part 1 and 2, why I would not go back to Jamaica to live, and the ebooks around green juices and superfoods, which is on my website. I'm about to go through it. It was a pleasure being here to be on your next live. Thank you, Simone, for being here. And yes, I'll be doing, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next live, but usually I'll do my lives on a Saturday. All right. So stay tuned. I'll probably do one in my intention is to do one once every 2 weeks. We'll just see how it goes in just timing and with all the other many things that I'm doing. But I hope to be back in 2 weeks' time. So my final thing I'm going to talk about is the things that I've learned since living in Jamaica. I would say I'm a person that doesn't really, historically, I'm not a very patient person. Okay. And so, I asked God, the powers in the universe to help me with patience and to give me patience. And so sent me to Jamaica. And that's pretty much where my growth journey began. Uh, Living here has definitely tested my patience, but also helped me grow in that as well, just from customer service, right? And I know there's lots of videos on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or reels and memes about the lack of customer service in Jamaica, or customer service not, or being really, really slow, which is heavily ironic, folks, because we have call centers in Jamaica. We probably, we've got thousands of employees that work in call centers in Jamaica. And one of the main accounts that we have is customer service. And we clearly are doing well in providing customer service. Because if we weren't, we would not have these accounts in Jamaica. Now, one could say, oh, yeah, but what does customer service really mean? Exactly what it means. You go into a bank, you go into a supermarket, you go to wherever in Jamaica, and there is an employee behind the counter at the cashier, could be walking the aisles, and you ask them a question, you need some information, they're serving you, cashing up whatever you have purchased. That essentially is customer service. It could be that you have a problem or you don't know where something is. And that's exactly what happens when you call through a call center. If I want to speak to someone in Amazon customer service because my product hasn't arrived, or because I sent a product out and they haven't received it, or because I'm having problems accessing my account. That's essentially what customer service is. When you go into the bank, you're going to the bank because you've got a problem, or because you want to change something, or you want to add something, or you want to open something. So us as Jamaicans, I must say us as Jamaicans, because my mother and father were born in Jamaica. Okay, grandparents are Jamaican. You cut me, it's Caribbean blood. You understand? I was just born in England, right? So us as Jamaicans, we know about customer service. Difference, and there is no difference, because I was going to say difference is you get paid, but at a call center you get paid, and also the customer service on the streets, in the banks we get paid. I think ultimately difference is it's the customers that you're speaking to and that you're serving. All right. Um, they sound like me that call you, or they sound American, or pretty much they sound foreign, right? So that's why we probably behave different. We ain't gonna behave that way to our own people. We'll just treat them as we treat our family, which unfortunately is really sad and disappointing. So living in Jamaica, I have learned a lot of patience, especially with the customer service in Jamaica. So that's one thing I've learned, is to be more patient. When the pandemic happened, I was really happy about that. You're probably thinking, why was you happy about the pandemic? Let me just walk you through it. Because it forced a lot of companies, especially the banks, to put a lot of things online. And so because you could do more things online, I no longer needed to go into the bank to talk to anybody. So that's how I adjusted. I learned that living in Jamaica, however you're being treated by people in Jamaica, there's other reasons and other things going on, and that the only person that you can change is yourself. You can adjust your behaviors, you can adjust your way of thinking, Natalie. You can't adjust their way of thinking and behaving. So don't put your energy into that and just leave it. So if I'm driving in my car and people are cutting me up, or the taxis are just acting stupid, and I want to do some road rage, I'm like, why would you want to do that, Natalie, and lose your life or go to prison, right, for somebody that you don't even know and doesn't even know you? I wouldn't even give you the second time a second thought. So I learned more about thinking more, not reacting as much, internalizing, and the aspect of being more self-aware of why is this happening, why do you need to do that. So that's what Jamaica has taught me, and that's what I've learned here. What else have I said that I've learned here? Funnily enough, people might think, really, Natalie? I don't think you have, but I've slowed down much more here. And in that process of slowing down, I learned more about me and why I'd be so fast at doing things. And the reasons behind why I'm just always on the go, adrenaline, fast, 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 fast. And that's because of in the UK, that's what the UK is like. That was also because of some toxic um, behavioral traits that I'd learned from a young age, always being there for people, helping them do this, do that for them, just being like a lackey and a lapdog. I hated it. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. So that changed a lot in me, where I realized that you can slow down because you live in a country that's nowhere as fast as they are. And you can stop doing things for other people, Natalie, and do things for yourself. When I started this company last year and left my corporate job, I slowed down even more because I'm no longer working for somebody else who was like, got to get this done, got to get this done, got to get this done. Now, that's still the same here for me. It's got to get this done, got to get this done, got to get this done. But it's more in my own speed, in my own time. I get more time to think and internalize and strategize more intentionally about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and how I can grow my business. So, no longer working in corporate and living in Jamaica and living with somebody that's much slower than me as well has really helped me in unlearning some things that weren't healthy for me while I was in the UK. And finally, living in Jamaica, I learnt and taught myself how to cut off toxic people. That's family, that's friends, and that's relationships. And I'm sure people would disagree. You cannot cut off your family. You cannot do that. Who says you can't? What? Because you watch soaps and TV shows, and things on the TV are telling you how to live your life because of how they scripted it. Just like what? Because you see on social media or you hear influencers say, "Oh, happy Father's Day to the father of my life, happy Mother's Day, oh, my siblings are my life," and stuff like that. That's toxic, because I don't even know if they're telling the truth, for one. But not just that as well. If we think like that and we're taught to think like that, it means that when your family manipulate you, use you, take advantage of you, gaslight you. If you've got family members that are narcissists, that are sociopaths, that are psychos, right? Um, you will justify and condone their behaviors. And I had to cut these people off for my mental health. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an angel by no means. I've done some mad things and some bad things and made some stupid decisions in my life where my family should cut me off as well. If you need to do that, you need to do that. But for my mental health, I feel much better. Now, am I sad sometimes that I'm not speaking to members of my family? Yeah, I am. Of course I am. I wouldn't be human if I didn't feel that way. But I remind myself of how I felt, um, what I would be thinking, what I was going through when I was connected to these people. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm good. Right? Now, what happens if you have an accident, Natalie? Who's there to care for you? Why do we always think it's our family? Because you can have family members that you're still in contact with that when you do have an accident or when you are in hospital, they're still not coming around you anyway. And for me, do I worry about that? Of course I do worry about it, but it's not going to change my decision of getting in contact with them, because then I'm thinking to myself, well, you're only getting contact them because you're worried about being by yourself. I can't do that. I can't live that type of life, really. So those are just a few things of what I've learned living in Jamaica. Learned about patience, learned about thinking before I speak, cutting off toxic relationships and friendships, um, slowing down and why I need to slow down. So that's it. So thank you, everybody. I've been on here for almost 2 hours. I really enjoyed this time. I hope you did as well. I hope to be back on a live soon, maybe in a couple of weeks. It all depends just what my itinerary and schedule is like. Thank you for those that commented, that asked questions, that really engaged and participated in this live. I hope you enjoyed the juice segment and this second segment, which is just answering a few questions, sharing a bit more about my life story for you to get to know me a little bit better. If you did enjoy this live, you know what to do. You can subscribe for more stories, for more lives, for more personal breakdowns of what's going on in my psyche, my life in Jamaica. Hit subscribe so that you'll always know when I go live next. So thank you, everybody, for being here. What I am going to be doing, I will be editing this 2 hour live. So I'm not going to edit it down to 2 hours, but there are going to be segments of this live that will be a replay that I'll actually edit, right? So there'll be some music in the background, whatever I've mentioned, or video or something like that. And you'll see that on the screen. Think of it as a condensed version of my replay for certain topics. So there's going to be a juice video that I did at the beginning. I answered questions throughout the live, and depending on how the structure of the questions and answering them went, I'll create a video on that, right? I shared personal stories about my life in Jamaica, about my wellness journey, and so I'll be editing those videos. Think of it as a more tighter paced video with some music in the background and some things floating on the screen. But just wanted to say blessed love, everybody, for watching. Remember, as always, to learn, love, and live. Stay blessed.